Greetings, bro. Is that after each and every event, no matter how huge, the movement remains. The movement do not only remain, it's pride. I mean, it put out new, new faces, new persons that are consumed with the passion for a new Nigeria. Every day, despite all of those hiccups, all of those up and down within the movement, despite the neophytes, that are very much in the movement, rather than deal maturely with situation, we bring it to the open, we spread the clothes on the line, on the linen for the world to see how stained it is. Despite all of that, the movement remains. And every now and then, there is always somebody to stand up and say, I am taking this movement on and I'm continuing with it. And I'm doing this on behalf of it. Initiatives every now and then. Why? Because the movement is organic. I have witnessed the era of the padlock, Obidient. I have witnessed the era where money scandal was everywhere. I have witnessed the era of the classists, in the movement, where they belong to their own world. They just do their thing. And if you are beneath them, you are seen in different light and in different category. I have witnessed that. I have witnessed resignations, like in the recent time. And let me inform, like I do always inform in any gathering I find myself to speak or to engage, you will still, there will still be many of these occurrences of these events. You know why? Because this is a movement that came together organically. And when something is organic, naturally by default, it spits out, it purges itself naturally. It will naturally purge itself. And what is this purge? The purge, in an organic thing, it's like, I don't know, I'm not a medical person. I would have used the human physiognomy and the antibodies to explain it. When you consume organic, naturally by default, it fights out every, antibodies. Every virus in the body, every bacteria in the body, naturally. Because you hit organically, your system is purged every now and then. Every now and then. Even if that virus that virus or bacteria wants to hide or be stubborn, the body purges it still. Because you hit organic. I'm just using that narrative. That is the same with this movement. Wherever, no matter how long, wherever they hide, this movement will purge people. Let me tell you, if you like, engage yourself still in coming to public to spread the linen when it happens. Give it oxygen. Now you know. But the fact I want us to learn today is that this movement is organic and it will continue to move. Super decentralized. Super decentralized. So apart from it being super decentralized, it is very organic. Very, very organic. Well, welcome to the space, everyone. I just want us to know that the purge will continue. It's not going to stop now. Even when, the leadership gets its acts together, the structure, Even when the Obidient, rather, okay, scratch that. Even when the movement gets its act together as a structure and begin to exploit, the strengths that the movement holds, even by that, you will still experience purging. Yes, you will still experience purging. And the movement will continue to purge, regardless of these events that we are witnessing. Did we not witness the padlock and the Obidient? I mean, which one? Padlock and what did they even call it? I forgot it ourselves. Did we not witness the classists? Those who, form their own class? Have we not witnessed a form of resignation? One thing I can tell you is that anything it's like wife and husband in their room. You will never see me come and sit down and be discussing their wahala with them, because none of them will tell you how it happened exactly. So all of this, our leaders in the movement, when they have their scuffles and they come to the public to do it, maybe most of them did not read Maxwell anyway, and they come to the public to do it, all right, it just melts me and I laugh. Anyways, we have a speaker up here. Deji, what's up? Happy New Year. Double Happy New Year to you. How you doing? Welcome to the space. I see your podcast. Well done.
Which podcast? Oh, okay. Hope you are good though.
I'm trying, my brother. I'm trying to be good.
All right, well done. So I want to understand something. So when you say the purge continues, does it mean that Obidient is purging out? What exactly is Obidient movement purging out? I think let me not put words in your like what is this purge? Who are the ones being purged out? And why is this purge so important? Jagu.
Did you? I don't know if you were on space, or if you joined us when I was using the human PC. You know me. I'm not a doctor, nor a medical person. I'm a finance economic person. That dabbled into talk. My brother.
Okay, no. I actually just so if you already explained, but that's fine.
No. I'm going to do that. I'm going ahead to do that. I just wanted to call that. To mention that it's like the human body that heats organically, 100 exclusively. When any virus in that body that is residual before the organic exclusive eating or during, will not have the place to hide or stay in that body, because the body heats organically, and that body naturally purges out this virus, this bacteria, because of the organic consumption. That's the movement. The movement is organic, if you would agree with me. All right? And it is super decentralized. When events like this happens, it is not like you said, like your question, that who is being purged. It is not necessarily that humans are being purged. Look, acts can be purged. Events that are hiding, that people are engaging in under the shadows, can be purged. Humans as well can be purged. All right, bro. That's why I made reference to the padlock era. Did we not engage in that saga? Is it still anymore? The movement will grow. It's organic. It can't die. That's what I know. It cannot die. Until it gets its act together, that's when all of us will begin to, how do I put it? We'll begin to witness the strength of the movement. But before then, right now, it is purging, I'm saying, and trying to get its acts together. Let's leave all of that things out now. Election is coming. It is the structure for Peter Obi. Let's leave all of that now, as we are discussing it as a body now. If you get my point, my brother. That's the purging I'm describing. If in my little way I've been able to explain.
I get it now. And you are right. You are right. In terms of not even just people now, like the analogy you gave about events being purged, I totally agree because a lot of these things we are not privy to, especially we who are the padlock obedience that don't know anything happening. It is whatever comes on the surface that we know about, right? So, yes, things are being purged. But my own disagreement, and I hope it will not offend anybody here, is that anything can die. Anything is not properly nurtured and given, it will die off. And it is very important to be able to keep this particular movement from dying off. That things are actually done to continue to re-inject it. And the reason why it can die is because it is organic. Like you said, organic stuff will eventually get to its own life end, right? It will get to its own life end. And I really hope that that is not the case for the movement. I am genuinely concerned, honestly. So actually saying, well, the guy has done well. And not just this guy, every other persons that has, been there, done that. We find a fraction of the movement saying, well, they've done their best. Somebody else is easy to do cho. Enter there if you think you can do it, right? Which is a fair thing. But you also have other people who are saying, well, you know where you were getting into before you go in, right? Your job was not to complain, rather to try and fix it. But as I said yesterday, there's a common thread amongst all the people that has left. There's a common thread, and I really hope that the leadership, and by leadership I mean Peter Obi himself, takes just a chill and sort of examine what could be the trigger, what exactly is causing this thing. Is it that these people just they got overwhelmed by the task, right? Was there a problem in terms of selecting them in the first place, that this was too big of a job for these individuals? Was it in the selection process, or maybe the individuals were right, but there's some sort of I don't know, internal governance that is frustrating these guys? What exactly is making people and also leave? And the ones that are leaving, why is it that some other people are still staying? Is it that the people that are still there, they are not also facing the same issues? Is this issue only met with, like, the people that face it are just a lot of people, and perhaps nothing is wrong, just these guys that don't know what they want, right? Or are these people are facing the same issue, but these ones are just the bold enough to come out to say, this is not right? Whatever the case is, you know, this has to be examined. You understand? And because it's very important. Me, I believe in the transcendence of this particular movement, transcending beyond the man himself. His political ambition will either have been fulfilled or not, right? And it will be left with all of us who are still here to decide what the plan for the movement will be. I'm sure of the old AOEs and all the other type of political movement that this country has experienced would at some point have felt they were too big to fail. I really hope that this movement take a cue from all the ones that have tried to do it and did not succeed, and learn from it. Events are unfolding every single day or week timeline, and I know that those at the background are trying their best. Absolutely. Like, the last thing I want to do is shit on anybody's effort, because trust me, if you come here I will say I cannot do it. So it takes courage in the first place to even put yourself out there. But something is fundamentally wrong, and I honestly don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but whatever it is, I hope that the man who the movement is literally is coined after, I don't know what. I know people will say, oh, What else do you expect him to do? Well, it's up to you to defend what he. But if it doesn't go well, what will the history book? What will they write about the movement? Was it just a storm that came and we thought it was going to be an hurricane to sweep the entire political landscape of the country, but it just faded away? Or will it be an actual, political tsunami that comes and destroys all these structures, all these terrible, terrible, terrible ways of doing things that we've been experiencing for God knows how long, and direct a new course, a fresh dawn for the country? What will the history books write about? And the man at the center of this will be the man himself, P.O. So I really hope that he doesn't joke with this. I know that, for someone, he understands that this is his base, and he also not wants anything to happen to it. But I just, for whatever it's worth, if anybody is hearing this, please and please, sir, try and stable the house. Honestly, try and stable the house. If not for this next election, which I hope it should be for, but if not for this election, whatever it is, if somebody has to leave, let them leave. Whatever has to happen for this movement to actually properly, start, functioning, I'm up for it. But like Jagu said, it's organic. Maybe, we will continue to be organic until we find our level. Thank you, Jagu.
Yeah, let me begin from where you stopped, Deji. But let me add or buttress the first point you said. Living entities die, including the organic one. I agree with you 100%. If it's not nourished, like you said, yeah. But the kind of vet that I described in my context is that kind of dress that comes via sabotage, via personal effects, and all of that within the organization. That is common character of men in organization. This is why we have human resource departments in all companies, so that they manage personnel. Yeah, so I agree with you, my brother, that the organic can die if it's not nourished. But the saving grace that we have been having is that it is still organic. If not, it would have completely crumbled. Yeah, it would have completely crumbled. But like you said, we need some form of solid, concrete, and intentional solution to put to bed, this kind of occurrence. I'm not saying that we can stop events like this, but at least to limit it. I mean, to handle it before it becomes manageable. Yeah, before it becomes a crisis. Yeah, let me use that word for lack of better word. Before it becomes a crisis, manage it and then move on. We need to get stronger and not deplete ourselves every day managing situations instead of trying to get our hearts together to stand in a gap and in barricade on behalf of the country. As Beji said, the movement, should try and do it or continue from where others who have tried to do it in this country stopped. I mean, with a political movement, the likes of what they call Action Congress, the Zikist, and co. All right, thanks, Deji. Please hang in there. Shegun, please go ahead. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, Daddy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you.
I think I think we are getting some things wrong, and I just want to. This is my own personal view. People can agree or disagree, but I will start from how did the obedience movement really started. The obedience movement has been in existence before Peter Obi even said he wants to be president. The obedience movement are the hungry people on the streets, are the angry Nigerians that are saying no, we don't want bad governance. We only adopted Peter Obi because we believe, yes, this is the best candidate to lead this country. So the movement is organic. The movement is people that are hungry. So far as there's still hunger, there's still bad governance in Nigeria, the obedient movement will still exist. Which leads me to my next point. I actually had my own observations when they started appointment, the whole appointment within themselves. And I'm like, how do you control over 100 million hungry people? How? Because like I put out in a tweet yesterday, the obedient movement particularly was not even meant to say it's for election. This was meant to be for revolution. It was meant to be a revolution in every space, every government, every election we do. Because okay, now we are talking about structure. Are we saying article does not have structure? Anything that involves you spending money, you cannot beat APC to it. What I, Shegun, believe right now we should be clamoring for is how we can trigger the hunger and anger in the minds of Nigerians. It's not about saying you want to have agents. Are we saying we don't see how elections are run in Nigeria? Even when we have agents will collect money. They will collect gala. Any agent that does not collect money or gala will collect slap. Any agent that does not collect money or gala will collect slap from talks. If you want to go through the route of building the same structure, they are saying, okay, they want to build the same structure that APC has. You want to have this structure down. Do you know the kind of structure? We all know the kind of structure APC has. We are talking about the structure of criminality, the structure of talks. Are we ready for that? That's what we should ask ourselves first. Are we ready for that? It is not about just having one agent in one polling unit. Can the agents withstand those talks? Are we ready to spend the kind of money that APC is willing to spend? Are we ready to vote, to buy votes? If APC is spending and we know the way APC and PDP are always doing. If APC is paying 5,000 for votes, are you ready to spend 10,000 for votes? So me, I'm not saying it's not good to have structure, but I'm saying we should not lose focus because, and again, I think the most important point is a lot of people that thinks they are following Peter Obi, they don't really listen to him. They don't really know him. Okay, somebody is saying people has been leaving. Peter Obi should be wary. Peter Obi should to think about what exactly. This man is who he say he is. He has not changed one bit. Even when he was governor, he has not changed one bit. He has not changed one bit. He has been the same person. If you listen to him very well, you have said several times that he will never spend money on spend a lot of his own money on what's it called, on politics. He would rather spend his own money on human capital, which he has always been doing. So I believe if we as Obidient thinks yes, so we need a structure, I think we should come around within ourselves and crowdfund. At least there's nothing bad in crowdfunding. I don't think there's any country on net that is only the politician that brings out his money to do it. Everybody crowdfunds. You bring out money, you crowdfund, and support the person you believe in. So me, my opinion is very simple. We should not be pushing all these things on Peter. Peter Obi has already made his stand clear. He has already. There's a video I posted yesterday, this morning, where he was talking about his structure. He has said it. My structure is over 100 million people, 100 million hungry people. My structure is over 30 million employed youth. These are people that they are already angry. They are
Let me
already
ask
Nigeria.
sorry, let me ask you this question real quick. How do you see grassroots connect with Peter Obi? Do you see Peter Obi very much connected with the grassroots currently?
Of course. If you follow the local government election they did, if you follow the local government election they did in Lagos, you will see that there is voter apathy. People did not even come out and vote. Did not even come out and vote. Every grassroots people knows Peter Obi, but the question is, would they allow them vote? We shy away from the truth. How is election held in Nigeria? How do you see election in Nigeria? That is the first question we should ask ourselves. Did Peter Obi win? Did Peter Obi spend any money on structure when he won Lagos in 2023? Because now we are talking about spending. They were saying four people. There is four people in one room typing. When he won the elect, we all know they rigged the election. In a free and fair election as that of today that I'm talking to you, no politician in Nigeria can win Peter Obi. But we are supposed to focus on the criminality in our electoral system. We are talking about see, if Peter Obi
All right,
spent $10 trillion,
so if I'm getting you right, you are saying that even if Nigerians want to vote, they will not be allowed. I want to understand you. They will not be allowed to vote because of the corruption in the electoral process. Now, if that is your take, anyway, I'm not arguing with your take. Anyway, that's not what I want to say. I'm asking you, what would be the solution you would prefer right now for us?
Exactly. So the solution right now is for Nigeria to play their part. It's for us to play our part. Our part is to rise up. Our part is to rise up and demand for electoral reforms. If electoral reforms will not work, which I know they will not still give us, our part is to demand for the revolution. Everybody knows the kind of people we are dealing with, but nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to say the truth. We know the way to go. We know what we need to do. Every Nigerian, even you, Jago, you know what is needed to do. Every other, look at Tanzania, look at every other African countries. They all know what to do. Election, see, if you like have 10 agents in each polling unit, you cannot win Tinubu in an election in Nigeria. The best thing we should do, we all know, but no, even Peter Obi knows. The best thing we can do right now is a revolution. Let everybody come out and say no, enough is enough. If we are not going to organize a free and fair election, if it's not the Nigerian people that will vote for the electoral chairman, for INEC chairman, let it cancel. We cannot be in a country where we have an illegal president and is the one that is appointing the INEC. What do you people think will happen? We need to stop telling ourselves lies. We need to stop telling ourselves lies. He says structure abuse. Spend money. If he spend 1 trillion, he will waste it until Nigeria rise up and say enough is. We are the only one that can save ourselves. Peter Obi is just the face. He's just there to say this is the person we want. We are the only one that can. If we listen to Amechi very well, Amechi has been giving us hints for a very, very long time. Amechi was the first one that says, they know that if we steal, you people will not do anything. He said, if we stole one politician once, everybody will sit right. See, I don't want to talk too much, but the truth is, I've said what I will say. If we can continue to blame this one left because Peter Obi did not do this one left because Peter Obi did not do this. The focus is winning an election. But between me and you, between everybody that is in this space, is there anybody that can be 100% sure that if Peter Obi say, oh yeah, I'm dropping 10 billion today, let us get agents in every polling unit, let us organize these people. Is there anyone that can believe in his heart that we will win Tinubu in an election without electoral reform, without reforming INEC, without reforming the authority agency, without reforming the judiciary? judiciary that they will see what the law says and they will change it. The petition against him removing the state of emergency in Rivers, till today, the court has not ruled on it. So we need to stop deceiving ourselves, Jagu. It's just pure truth. Nobody should deceive themselves here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Segun. There are two things I will give in response to your submission. Just two things. One is that for those who are, criticizing publicly, I'm not saying you cannot criticize your leader. Don't get me wrong. Your leader is not a demagogue. Talk to him when you need to talk to him. Call him when you need to call him. Tell him to his face. Now, there is no Nigerian that is more Nigerian than any other Nigerian. At least that's the way I see things. And that's why when I play my role as a citizen, I don't wait for nobody to play it. I don't look for direction from nobody to play my role. I know that Nigeria is my home. When it is better for her, it is better for me. So whoever is saying from my point of view or is fighting for Nigeria of a new one is my partner in struggle. We work together. I won't wait for you. No matter your status in life. I've always been part of the movement in my life since the days of school to never give respect to you when you are oppressing anybody. I was so young when I wrapped I cannot forget the lace agbada of my school register, wrapped it around his head and locked him in my student union building toilet. So I don't I'm not a respecter of man, regardless of your status or value or money. What is important to me is the money. And that's what I see. I see human before what you own or what you dress with, what you are dressed in. So my brother, those who are maybe they've not come to par with the real work that they are doing. Maybe they don't even have understanding of what is involved in what we are doing, what's involved in what we are doing. It is a cause, it is a movement, and everybody moves in parts. It's like different parts in a spinning wheel. They are working differently, but for one purpose, to spin the wheel. So if you don't understand this, maybe for self-aggrandizement, maybe because of class, maybe because of position, maybe because you're a classist, now you are infringed and you think the only way is to begin to, bash the man. Nobody is saying the man's head does not shake. Nobody walks without his head shaking. I personally, I have my grudges with the man, but you will not see me come and say that this and that. I would rather find a way and okay, this. I find my way to pass my message. Find your way to pass your message. That's about it. Then again, about your responsibility as a citizen. Play it. Again, check completely that no one can come through the window and is given the opportunity to appoint who will run the process of the elections that is coming, and he would not agree it. I agree with you. The process I spoke on even on active citizens program. I spoke completely and stand about it. You cannot allow me to employ when you know that I cheated. You allow me to employ the person who will run the game again, and you will think I will not bring in somebody who will compromise the game for my sake, since I know I'm not legit. So that's what we have in the country. That's a problem. And that's why I understand Segun calling for revolution, because he sees all of these things as no way. But there is only one way, Segun. There's only one way. Because this revolution you are calling for, I understand it, we've been calling for it. Quickly, before I use the mic, my brothers, please indulge me so that we can explain this thing one by one. We will all speak. My brothers and sisters, rather. Revolution is, you can plan, you can invest the wallet of the richest man in the world in a revolution. You can plan it and fix the date. Ladies and gentlemen, it will not still happen. You know why? Because nobody plans a revolution. It is spontaneous and it happens without planning. That is revolution. So what we are all doing right now, all of these are engagements, are all part of the preparation for this revolution. There is this revolution just needs a spark. And what we are doing, poking, poking and poking and talking and talking and pushing back and pushing back at all of their rhetoric and policies is the process. And one of them will give us the spark. That spark may not even be something minute. I mean, it may be something minute rather. It may not be something, so huge. It may be something so little, and you just see it spiraling, rippling, and rippling, and rippling until it becomes a nationwide thing. And you'll be shocked that it's a revolution. You can never see anybody sit down and describe, say, this is how a revolution started. You can see it. Not
Apologies, Alberto.
yeah.
Sorry. Apologies. Sorry. See, I totally agree with you. That's why if you check some of my tweets, I always say it that one day that trigger will come. That trigger cannot even be, it can be just small thing. So I want every one of us to be focused on the main issue. The main issue is the devil we have on hand. The main issue is the
I think we lost you. There's somewhere I was going. Anyway, we lost you. Before I use the mic, this is where I was going. That's where I was going. I was going to say that. Look, we say with let's for revolution. Everybody come out for revolution. It won't happen. That's why we are using all of the avenues we have, including the political avenue, which of course is the electoral process. Look, the electoral process can also be revolutionized. You can cause a revolution through the ballot. And that is the most potent for any democratic setting. The most potent. But we are here to get Nigerians, at least the quorum of Nigerians that is needed to bring about that electoral revolution. We thought that the coalition was going to bring it, but they gave a complete interpretation to coalition. And here we are today. We are still not getting a headway. So I agree with you, Olusegun, revolution should be, but the movement must continue to evolve. Play its part. Individuals with good movement must continue to play their part as though they are citizens, really, and not just, saddled for blame game and criticism. Many people are won and they are being overwhelmed with that, and they are not conscious of it. All they do is fixate on the errors, fixate on criticizing, fixate on looking at the problems. In fact, some are even fixated on amplifying the strength of Tinubu and their opponents instead of finding a way and working as a citizen, getting your hands dirty. This is the first time I will see an incumbent who doubles as an opposition. The guy currently works at the opposition and he's the incumbent. Why? Because Amowo Komoki Mowo Duro. He is illegitimate, he is illegal, he understands it. He has made up his mind that yes, this is where I am, and he has chosen his route to go through. Have we chosen our path? We are yet to do that anyway. Let me hit the mic. I will begin with the ends up anyway, and we're going to begin with Ogechuku, that's our sister. Yes, opportunity to our darling sisters. Yes, so let's go with Ogechuku. We'll take City Guy. City Guy, yes, City Guy. Nigerian Renaissance, please let me know. I'm going with the ends up. Right? So go ahead, Ogechuku.
Thank you, Jagu Jagu. Greetings, everyone. Beautiful topic, and I agree with the previous speakers, including Jago Jago, to some reasonable extent, I agree that revolution is and will be spontaneous. And revolution comes when you are frustrated, when you have tried all other avenues and they failed. And the only option you are left with is that revolution. And the only way you would have explored or tried other options is when you do the work yourself, not when you are sent to do, mobilized to do, given to do. So uh, I also agree that obedient movement is organic and that the organic there is Nigerians that are hungry, that are not hungry for food, but desire good leadership, governance, and we pick Obi as the face of the obedient, and Obidient is his name. So it's directed to him, directly related to him, to his personality, to who he is. It's unfortunate that people wake up to start blaming him for a few things that they think he should have done. He should have been a tyrant. He should have been a good leader by ordering, controlling, releasing fund. My dear, if you give me money to do things and I fail, wetin concern me? If you give me money to do things and I succeed, the credit and glory goes to you who gave me the money. But if I bring out money from my pocket, my time, and do things, I feel frustrated when I don't succeed. That is why when people who do not work for money ask you for money and you say you don't have, they don't understand it. People who do not work for money, when you see them spend money, you know that they don't work for it. So I'll give an instance. I will say I'm an obedient. I am in some groups, but sincerely, I'm not working with those groups. I am working on my own. I've said it before in some spaces, and I'm going to repeat it here again. I have been registering people not under Obidient or the Obedient movement. I've been paying their transportation to and fro the local governments to make sure that they get registered and we get their information down. I'm actually working with the Hausas, people from the north. So I am not broadcasting it and all that. Secondly, on the issue of who resigned, he has the right to do so. It's usually overwhelming. I understand his position, especially when you want to control from the top. It's not easy to get people under you. It's not also easy to get me in particular under you because I have things I do, so I create time to do those things. So I have to be available when it's convenient for me, kind of, and it may not be convenient for you. Again, um, I want to say that the young man who resigned has done so well. He has done beautifully well within his strength. But if you look at what he also said in that his tweet, he said something about his business being attacked. And that leads me to what I want to say now. The present government is attacking everybody that is supporting Obi, attacking your business, attacking your life, attacking your family, and even attacking Obi. The attack on Obi majorly is to make sure that he is not on the ballot, that he will not contest in 2027. So all the political parties that are in Nigeria registered today are being monitored, they are being threatened, and That is what Obi is saddled with, is working on. So this idea of coming to have meetings with them or talking with them, you see how ADC, Shebi is ADC. Please, you'll be hearing some noise on my background. The compound next to mine are fixing their roof, so the zinc and whatever. So I apologize for that. So now, am I still audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So that is what Obi is working on at the moment. People are saying, come out and say you are not saying where you are and where you are not. We all know that LP isn't working. LP was never working until Obi came in. And since he came in, they have tried to destroy it. Abure can't even do anything on his own without taking permission from his bosses. They threaten you, they blackmail you, they bring out your past, they present it before you and make sure that they use it against you. The only man they have not been able to get something from his past is Obi. So, and on the flip side, all these small parties make money during the election through this same way. They promise them huge money. That's why I also agree with the guy that said you cannot outspend APC when it comes to money. They are ready to dole out billions to all these small parties to make sure that they don't give him a platform. So I'd like us to factor all this in, and while we work, we also pray. For those that are dropping, they are human. They are free to be overwhelmed. We all have our limits. We all have our strengths. And he also mentioned his family, getting involved and talking to him. We all know how our African families behave, you know. So I think it's fine, but coming out to spill some other things that he did, I don't quite agree with him. Then, furthermore, I've engaged him privately. I met him in Lagos personally. And later, there was, I think, the last meeting or so that I joined on Zoom. I later wrote him and said, who is the coordinator of Imo State? Because I am from Imo State. I wanted to get across to the man and know who can speak for my local government or who is in charge of my local government to trickle it down to my community so that I can work with them. He told me that Imo State is still pending. I approached him a second time. He's written, I didn't call him on the phone. I really write because that's my record. And this thing was said. So I decided to call one or two persons that I know that are obedient and in the forefront that are from my community. A lady actually, she lives in America and said, please, how do we coordinate my community to deliver my community for OB? If possible, my local government, let's work together. So that was how we started working, and it's still not under the Obidient. So people are working. We are all working. And later, my elder sister is in Asaba. The young man is from Delta State and he has done so well in mobilization and everything in Delta State. Delta State is on fire. Delta State Obedient is on fire. They have Kampela, they have him and some other people. They even had their conference, I think last week or this week, and they all made financial contribution. Maurice did as well, a huge. So he's been there. And saying that he's resigning doesn't mean he's leaving the obedient movement or he has abandoned Obi. But my issue with him is that he said the things he said about Obi, which shouldn't have been. And it wasn't against Obi this time. It was against himself because he has just shown that in the heat of it, you could walk away from anybody. So and go spilling. I hope I've been able to coordinate my thoughts very well, the things I wanted to say. So, okay, further again, through the Delta State coordinator, they reached out to my sister to say, "You're from Imo State. Get us someone from Imo State that will do that." And my sister reached out to me and we picked someone who is working now. He's a lecturer. So all these things are going on. We are not coming out to say it. People are working. And if you don't work, you will not get angry at the polling units to fight. When you see that everything you have worked for is being destroyed in your eyes, you stand and defend it. So that is how the revolution will start. So I want to encourage us, keep working, don't get discouraged. Obi is not perfect. He is not. He is not. He has his shortcomings. He's a human being. Bible talked about uh, those who fall by the wayside, those who were given talents and they multiplied it, the seeds that fell by the roadside, the ones that fell on the rock, and the ones that fell on the fertile ground. All those things are human beings. It's all about us. So things like that are bound to happen. You don't get discouraged. Just keep moving on. Maurice is not gone yet. He has not left the election. If they say presidential election today, if Maurice will vote, he was never hungry for good governance in Nigeria before, you know. So that's all I think I want to say for now. And I want to encourage us again. Keep working and keep praying for Obi. Let's keep working and keep praying for him that he gets a platform and he will announce it very soon. Thank you very much. I yield the mic.
Thank you, Ogechiku. Excuse me. Thank you, Ogechiku. Let me give a brief feedback to your thought. Okay, brilliant one, though. I love the diplomacy approach that you adopted. But you know this space now. We do everything we can to stay within the moral bounds, and at the same time, make sure that we don't do political correctness. Now, here is the truth. The attacks on comrades in this struggle, the attack on persons who have shown, their disdain for this current ruinous government is been coming since forever. And it has never been an excuse for any comrade to turn their backs like Lot. I normally love to quote the Bible. The Bible said, "No man lays his hand on the plow and look back is fit for the kingdom." In this struggle, we all know what we are facing. Should Peter Obi come out to begin to describe how his business is being targeted, or how he's being, harassed and victimized politically? Should he? No. Or should people at their own cadres, at their own, discuss how they have to turn their backs against their family, against their folks, against their friends, because they want a better Nigeria? Should everybody begin to do that? No. That's why I describe some of us in the movement, and even amongst us, well-meaning Nigerians who want a shift from this status quo. That is why I still describe some of as neophytes. They do not understand that that there is a reason why social and political are socio-political. Your social life is determined by the political arrangement that you reside in. So if you don't get engaged in changing, in that your political system, then it will affect your social life. That's what we are having. For some people, because they are not in the bracket of 133 million living in abject, multi-dimensional poverty. They just take it lightly. And whenever anything happens, they see it as a corporate affair, so they resign. It's never true. This is life we are dealing with. Lives. That's the way I see it. I don't see it any other way. Lives we are dealing with. And it is the responsibility of you and I. The minority always bring about revolution. Forget all those Nigerians that you are looking at, those demographics that they target, that they give spaghetti. Those are not the people who bring the revolution. The day that those ones arise, you too should run, because you are going to be a victim. The day that demography turn against everybody, you should run. You should run, because you are going to be a victim. So it is you and I who can bring about that change now. It is you and I who should connect to that grassroots and do our jobs as citizens, engaged citizens. Yeah. But having said that, the realness have been there forever. Since I have known Tinubu, there is emotion. This since the day he laid the ambition to become governor of Lagos, he had a side, because those guys, they know how stupendously rich this country is. So they took advantage of it. People can plan long game. Evil geniuses can plan long game, and they can stand by it, weather beating, sun coated, and they will this hand. But you and I, that are the citizens, we just turn our back because we are being tear gassed. We turn our backs because Wike shouts, or because police are charging, or we turn our backs because of common bickerings amongst us, common issues of personal. We turn our backs. We are yet to understand, and I hope that we do before that demographic decide to take it upon their hands that they want to change. You and I go run anyway. Yeah. So let's move on with the conversation. And finally, on your notes, okay. Look, my sister, this corruption we are describing in the election is ably sponsored by electoral apathy. And apathy, when it happens, is what makes the streets for them to become act. But when you and I are out there, when we occupy the streets to vote, not just to vote, because there was an election that was won by the people in 2023. The junction that we turned back was the junction where we could not take it home. And so it's the education now must be, we're not just going to cause electoral tsunami, we're going to cause a radical electoral tsunami. That everybody know that we are going now not just to vote, but to defend that vote with everything within us. That is just my take and my feedback to you, Obichuku. Let's move on. That will be City Guy. If he's there now to speak, then we'll move to CTS.
Good day, everyone. Good day, Jagun Jagun. I hope you all can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, what I want to contribute to this is that, in 2023 election, there was an electoral revolution from the people. But why did Peter Obi was not announced the winner is because we were ignorant. Should I use that word? Use that word, ignorance. We were ignorant about everything. No corrupt system will give you leadership on a platter. There is one thing that we missed out that day, which is protecting our goods. We all came out that day in mass and good. I know me and my friends, and we confused so many people, even with all the problems in Port Harcourt. We kept telling all the court leaders to do this and do that to everyone that came to vote against candidates. We know what we did, we know how we encourage ourselves, and we voted our units, our words we delivered. But believe me, you did not went to the World Collection Center. Neither did we go to collection center. Immediately after we voted, we left the voting unit. Immediately after the results were declared, we left the polling unit. So that was one of our ignorance, or should I say our big faults in that election. Now, you come into these electoral reforms. These people have seen what we can do. They have seen the power of the masses. What do we cause electoral reforms? Politicians will not give us electoral reforms at all, not in their lifetime. So I believe come 2027, we can do another political revolution, a very strong tsunami that will shake the Nigerian condition. And this time around, let's look for a way to reorientate everyone to protect our votes. If we can protect our votes, see, Peter Obi will win the election clean, as in very clean. There is nobody that don't want to vote for him. This is what it's on the street. There is nobody that don't want to vote for Peter Obi. But how do we protect our votes? That is what we should be thinking about. Nobody will give us leadership. Nobody will give Peter Obi presidency on a platter. It's very difficult because we are dealing with corrupt individuals, corrupt institutions. INEC is one of the most corrupt institutions on earth. So to give us the leadership without any pressure from them, it will be very, very difficult from them. So I suggest what we keep doing to reorientate everybody. On that day, come 2027, we must defend our votes, no matter what happens. We must protect it. Everybody that votes, stay there, follow the votes to your word. Make sure that the vote is protected and announced as it is written or as it is voted on in your polling units. That is my own take on this issue. That is my own mindset on this issue. Because I don't see any other way that we can go on to win this election without defending and protecting each and every vote that we on 2027. If you talk about Peter Obi, I believe he is working. He might not be loud about it, but he is working. Maybe he is working he's going about meeting other people. And Adibini has declared that he will run under ADC. Only God knows what would have happened today. You know what is happening right now in ADC. Those people are money mongers. They are looking for who to give them money. They are not ready for Nigeria or any changes. So I don't believe we need them. Let Peter Obi still be the way it is now, without any political party until the right time. The moment he declares that this is political party, we the people, we the masses, we are the structure of Peter Obi. Forget about what they say. This election, Anambra State did not get up to 50,000 votes. This that, all those things will be a forgotten thing. The moment he declared his intention for a political party and he wants to be a candidate of that party, everybody will come behind him. Everybody will rally around him. So what I'm suggesting now to the House is that let's look for a way to give people more orientation about vote protection. Yes, let's look at how we are going to protect these votes. If you look at Anambra election, in some of the videos that I saw on Twitter, you see in some units, the result sheet is not there, but people are voting. You understand? So imagine an election where result sheets are not there, but people are voting, but they don't know what the meaning. They don't even know the meaning of result sheets. People are voting. So at the end of the day, they will think that their candidates have won the election. They don't know that it's not someone elsewhere afflicted that they will present. So we must start educating the masses on how to protect our votes on that day. If we can protect our votes, I'm telling you, Peter Obi will win this election. That is my take on it. Thank you, Jagu Jagu.
City guy, thank you very much. But let me give you my response. I love to give response so that we hold a robust conversation. But first, I must buttress one of your positions, and I will buttress it with a saying: there is no feudal lord that will reform himself out of power. That's why I agree with you, City Boy, 100%. Speaking about electoral reform. All right, that is that. Secondly, you see, Let's take this scope and check them, and we'll see what is obtainable. The government corridor is filled with, not peculiar politicians. Tinubu is not your peculiar politician. You will not play by your rules. He's blurred all of the boundaries and the borderlines. If you go to our budgetary site where government fiscal spending is being monitored, it has been turned down. You cannot access it anymore. So the feudal laws are now occupying our corridors of power, including their Oshins and their hallelujah boys. That is check. The institutions are captured and rigged. Yes, Wike is lord over judiciary. The National Assembly wears the infinity cap to the parliament. The institutions are captured. The opposition is snitched. Opposition cannot speak because they've been part of the transaction. I don't know how to cloak word. I'm sorry. They've been part of the transaction. That's why we are having those kind of opposition today. The only opposition that we have, if you listen to Ayo say that guy is a political analyst, a very good one. It's from my state. He said, and the only opposition that we have today is Peter Obi. All others are bystanders. Do you know why he said that? He said that because this is a politician you cannot, stick anything on to pull him down. In Nigeria, you guys don't know what you have on your hands. You guys don't know what the universe and providence have provided you at this time that we have, and we are dilly-dallying, even within our sufferings. Let me even leave that one higher. So when all of this is happening, what is the solution? The solution rests upon the shoulders of the citizens. And I think this is what the framers of democracy thought when they originally framed democracy in America. When they gave powers to the citizens to take back their sovereignty when their country is captured. Why do you think Americans hold gun? Let's move the conversation on. All right. It will be 6 years now, then we establish a new rule call.
Yes, it should be 6 years. I agree to you all, Lord. I greet all of us on this space.
Greetings to you.
We've all spoken well. But my own submission this morning will be in 3 parts. I would like to speak on we'll start from the home, from the family, then speak on the Obidient movement, then I'll talk of Obidient movement and elections. While I will touch passing what happened at the 2020 elections, and lastly, I will be speaking on revolution. Without taking much of our time. You see, it is very, very important that we understand what the Obedient movement is and what it stands for. Because I believe in ideologies, you understand, so that we don't have misconceptions. Because if you really understand what it means, you won't want to, spill out things you shouldn't say because of Obi did not do what you think he should have done and the rest of it. First, I'd like to start on this note. How did the Obedient movement start? Was it Olusegun? I said, the movement started even before Peter Obi, opted to, so he was going to run. But the Obedient movement started with Peter Obi, and that was why it was coined after his name. I'm not negating the fact that there have been hungry people, there have been people who have been put down at the background, who needed a voice, who needed someone to speak for them. There have been such persons, in the country, but the Obedient movement was a movement that organically came up because the people saw a person who was totally different from what they used to know, from whom they used to know, from the people they've always been presented to or presented with. He came and his campaign words, his ideologies, his personalities, I mean, he will tell you, go and verify. And Nigerians were looking to see if something will come up against this man. Nothing came up. It was those that decided to move with this man that, formed that, if I'm wrong, someone should correct me, that formed what we call the Obidient movement. Now, interestingly, like Jagu said, it is something that started organic. That's how it started, organically. And it has come to stay. Now, Peter Obi was an eye-opener. He was the one that exposed a lot of things. And this exposition brought people from the nook and cranny of the country together, irrespective of your tribe, irrespective of religion. That is the Obidient movement. Now, Obi himself is a human being, and you would agree with me, and you people agree with me, that there is never a man that everybody would agree with in this world. In fact, if everybody agrees with you with what you do and the rest of it, then you need to check yourself. But the thing we need to ask ourselves, in that person, PO, has the core value changed? Has it changed? Has something changed that needs us to deviate from him and leave him? Has something changed for us to come and start, saying some things we're not supposed to say and the rest of it? The thing is, no. He remains who he is. And from him, we have gotten this thing, like Jawi said, something that we don't know what we have, something that God has placed and given us, the Obidient movement. So for me, that is what we should know about the Obidient movement and how it started. And being organic, yes, something organic must fail, it must die at some point. But there's also a possibility that it will continue only if we know, we go back to the drawing board and know where we started from and hold on to it. Anytime there's this, tensions back and forth, what we should do is go back and say, how did we get here? How did it start? What instigated this? I think that should spur us, that should strengthen us. I think that should be a revival. Because whether you like it or not, in the body, there will always be what? There will always be bacterial attack. There will always be fungal attack. There will always be, this typhoid. There will always be malaria. There are things. But the thing is, how do you handle it? How do you handle the body? That is the thing. And for me, always remembering where we started from is key. It is key because that is flowing should flow from that fact that the reason there is an Obidient movement is because there was value, there were values. There were values in the person of that man, PO. That value, that is what to stand for. Obedience are not indisciplined. Obedience are not corrupt. Obedience will never buy vote. Obedience will never engage in corrupt. Rather, we engage in revolution. That's why I talk of the obedient ninjas. You will not engage in anything corruption. Yes, yes, he buys everything. In fact, the institutions are working for, but obedience will not, because we believe that there are ways to these things other than engaging in such dubious acts as he does. So that is one thing we should know about the obedient movement. If the obedient movement as an organic body will die, it will die when we forget where we started from. Where we started from, that is when it will begin to die and crumble. There are a lot of obedience. Those who don't know they are obedient. And that is why there is something that's called preparation. And that is what the Obedients have been doing. There are those that need to be brought into the fold. Everybody that means well for Nigeria, every non-corrupt Nigerian that wants to see a working Nigeria is an Obedient, but they don't know. That is why the Obedients are making these preparations. Because even if there's going to be an aftermath in the name of revolution, even if there's going to be an Ogo grill, you must have put things in place, things that would.
Oh, are you? Oh, I didn't know you were through with your submission. All right. I think it will be. Okay, let's establish a new. What went wrong? The network. Okay. Go ahead, because we lost you.
Oh, sorry about that. So this now brings me into the Obedience and election. See, the reality is this, and thank God we're saying it on this space. The reality is this: the system is corrupt. The systems are corrupt. The individuals are corrupt. We are battling not just with the individuals, battling with a corrupt system. It is the reality. So everything we are going to do between, as far as 2027 election is concerned, is to keep that in mind, that there is a war against corrupt system, against corruption in all ramifications. We know that there is going to be a rigging. If you don't know as an Obedient, then you are deceiving yourself. There will be a rigging. The question is, what will be our response? But the response is backed by preparations, which is what we have been doing. Now, this revolution we are talking of now is something like that. Says something that will just come. It will just pour. It will just come on its own. Are you getting it? But revolutions are being caused by ideologies. If someone does not know that a particular thing, this thing is wrong, yes, aside the issue of pain, hunger, and the rest of it, revolutions are being caused by people who know that this thing is not supposed to be like this. These things are wrong. And that is what the Obedients are doing. Educating the people, sensitizing the people. You see, you don't organize revolution, but there are things that instigate it. And educating the people, sensitizing the people, and that is what the Obedients. So my advice to wrap up, my advice is read the Obedient. Let us go back to the drawing board. Let us not allow structural problems. Let us not allow the way PO is running his politics to affect us, in as much that the qualities and values has not changed. Because these are things that disintegrate movement. They might look insignificant. This one is stepping down. This one is leaving. This one is saying this about this one. And then people begin to see that this one is childish. People don't even know what they're doing and the rest of it. So let us be careful. Always remember where we started from and what we stand for. And so on this note, I yield the mic. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, my brother. Yes. Brilliant one. Let me just add this. Like I said the other time, we don't know what providence had provided us. Let me remind us that there was a time that during every electoral cycle, our political leaders will go on the street to roast barley, corn, and roast corn with those poor women, sleep on those, poor health center beds with the people every 4 years. But a man came, removed us completely from that electoral campaign riddled with optics, and brought us to the era of issue-based electoral campaigns. That is his politics. That man has done that. It will be hedged in history. It will be dotted on the books that he did that in the evolution of the country called Nigeria. But what will be said about you and I? All right. So, CTS has said, rightly said, there will be rigging, because I cannot snatch something from you and you allow me hold it, and another time come for me, for the process to re-roll again, and you are giving me the opportunity to appoint who will be the umpire of the game, and you think I will not compromise the process. I'm illegal. I am illegit. I must find the legitimate and illegal way to make sure that I remain. I came through the window. So what will be your response as a people? You and I, our response should be this radical electoral tsunami that we are describing here. From there, anything can happen. Let's move the mic. It will be Dress the Creator, Madex, then Brother Me, before we'll come to Archie.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everybody. My country people, I greet everybody. It's been wonderful listening to everybody. I salute everyone. Jagun, the one and only warlord, Bogum himself. So this is a great one. So I have something to say. And it may not be palatable with a lot of people. So what is it? First of all, I think it's on the issue of Mr. Morris. It's within his rights to resign if he feels that something is not working. And resigning doesn't mean that he has turned his back on the movement. I'm sure a lot of people are going on behind the scene. The point is that what are we doing? Why is it not working? What can we do to make it work? That's it. There is a quote that I want to share, and this is a quote that I'm going to die with. He said, on this hill, I'm ready to die. And this is the quote. It goes this way. If you are fighting with someone, if you are competing, if you are playing with someone who is not going to play fair, it is foolhardy to plan to play fair with such a person. If you are playing with someone who has no plan to play fair, who is not going to play by the rules, it is foolhardy, regardless of how your abilities are, regardless of whether you have trust in your capabilities or not. It is foolhardy to go play with such a person. If you are going to be in the fight with someone, and this fight is supposed to be without arms, without weapons, but you are very certain that this person has a knife behind them, you are very certain that this person has a different weapon, then it is foolhardy to go into that such fight without being prepared, without arming yourself. That is the situation where we find ourselves. I don't know if everybody can hear me. That is the situation where we find ourselves. If we are going into this battle, because this is a battle, and already the signs are there. We've seen this man has made moves. He has already shown his hand. He has already shown his hand. This is someone that, I mean, almost all the governors are now APC. Nigeria is basically becoming a one-party state. So, and there's the idea of revolution, which is great. I'm not going to disparage the idea of revolution, even though we know that this is Nigeria. But we know this man is not going to do it. What are we going to do? This is not for everybody, really. What are we going to do? If someone is playing with you with a loaded dice, how do you counterbalance the person's moves? These are the real issues. The point is, yeah, I understand. We don't do dubious things and all that. It is not about Peter Obi. It's about us. It's not Peter Obi that is in this fight. We are the ones that are in the fight. This matter is not about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is only leading this charge, and this charge. It's only the face of this revolution. The revolution itself is us, and we have chosen, way back, that we are going to go by it through the polls. If we are going to do that, you understand there are some facts that we don't come terms with in this country. First of all, Nigeria, we are not mature enough for democracy. It is quite obvious. Nigerians generally, we are not mature enough for democracy. We're people that act on sentiments. We're people that act on religious and tribal sentiments. We're people that act. We're people that make decisions with low information. So generally speaking, we are not like America when America was founded. Even though it was an oligarchic system, it was basically based on the West Coast and the East Coast. You understand? But in this case, in our own case, we have a massive population of people that are not properly informed. No matter what we do, regardless of what we do, these people will be swayed by inanities. We know this already. So, are we going to do? My own point is this: if we are entering a fight with someone who has no plan to play fair, it is foolishness to play fair, to fight fair with such a person. How do you arm yourself? I remember during incense, I was telling people, guys, let's go and get sheets. Let's go and look for drums, fill it with cement or broken this thing and put it in our front. Let's go, let's prepare. Because I sense that these people are coming to work for us. Let's get ourselves ready. It's not about we were peaceful, right? Then we shoot people and nothing is going to happen. The point is, how are we ready? What are we going to do to counter the moves that they're moving? They have already selected an INEC chairman. What are we doing to counter it? We understand that the entire is in their pocket. What are we going to do to counter it? In fact, the matter is this: this election should never enter the judicial process. On the election day is where everything should end. And we can make that happen. And it's not about whether we are popular or not. It's about we have countered the moves that we make. This last election in Lagos State, I was part of it. And I campaigned for an LP candidate. I worked, I was an agent and everything. And we saw with our eyes what the APC was capable of doing. And I was telling them before they said, look, these guys do not plan to do election with you. They did not plan to. In our own area, they brought people from outside the community. We couldn't do anything. Somebody will say, we are requesting for soldiers. Soldiers are coming. We later learned that the soldiers were stopped on the police by police who told them that they have no rights. There are things we could have done. Let's talk about voter apathy for a minute. Voters are like consumers. There's a time where consumers are not interested in buying anything. Even in such time, maybe let's say in a recessive, there's massive recession. Even in such time, there are some marketers do gymnastics to get voters out.
Dex, if you wouldn't mind, as an economist, I find that very hard to swallow because demand would always meet supply anytime. Oh, we lost him. Oh.
I didn't get that.
Oh, I said, as an economist, yeah, I can hear you now. I said, as an economist, I find that to swallow very hard because the demand would always meet supply any day, anytime. Whatever makes consumer drop demand for one goods, it is either they are going for close substitute goods. Des, are you there? Because we can't hear you. Oh, I think the network is delayed. Dex, if you would fix your phone, your network, and return to us. Yeah. All right. Let's move the conversation while Dex reset. Even Archie has been having serious issues staying on the speaker section. Let this network. All right, Madex, go ahead.
Hello.
Okay, now that we have confirmed that it's not me, Dex, you need to fix your
Hello.
network.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Madex.
Hi. Greetings, everyone. Jagu Jagu, nice to be here again. Obedient movement. The porch continues. What did they happen? See, we the drink last evening. Go with the porch. I don't understand the context of that, but my submission is just around what is going on. I read voices.
Would you mind context around it?
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, this is the context. You know that the movement frequently had been riddled with some forms of stability since forever. And yeah, we can talk about the Obidient Padlock era, saga era. We can speak to the era of probity. We can speak to the era of Kamala Harris versus Trump.
Yeah.
We can speak to so many.
They do election and all that.
Thank you. We can talk about recent resignations, but because it is organic.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that something organic don't die. If you don't nurture it, it dies. But because it is organic, thus far, don't forget we are still in the formation stage. It is just how many years? It is because of the organic formation of it that made it look like these guys have been here since forever. Even government is sweat since now don't come. So just to get our acts together is where the issue lies. And now to get our acts together, the movement needs to be completely purged. Like something that has been read that's organic, and so a virus tries to come, naturally that virus will be purged out because that body eats organically. No for any sickness. I did try to use a medicine explain that if you understand me. So that's the context. But then as the movement touches, I noticed as well that gaps are, by default filled. So it tells that yes, the movement is organic. So that's just about it. And I wanted people to understand as well. Then that's what now led us to discuss about reasons why we have not been able to begin to engage really as a formidable force. And we discuss the politics around it.
Yeah, thanks for that context. Very, very helpful. I'm going to look at my conversation around two things. One, the obedient movement. Two, Nigerians and the election. For the obedient movement, when it first started, um, people joined. People who were tired of status quo joined because they wanted change. We're tired of Buhari's policies, the insecurity and all that. And we saw, be the authentic leader whom we believe in, who without much talking could influence Nigerians, unlike the transactional leaders who were using money to influence people, the articulators and the rest of them. Obi was a leader that his message resonates with both the rich people, the middle class, even the the other people on the other side. So it was easy to follow him, and to date, Obi has not lost his followers. Obi has not lost his followers. Obi's followers are in millions, from the rich, the middle class, and the poor.
Maddox,
You understand?
we have, people will argue against this context that we are
No,
losing.
no, they just the, we you can count them. You can count. When you say lose, you count. Okonkwo, Bolale, and Morris have not left Obedient, but they left positions. We've left Kenneth Okonkwo. You can literally, you can count. But out there are millions. And then there's this thing, people think that when they leave, they are able to influence people. I just look at them, I'm like, okay, this one don't drop, no wahala. People have their mind made up on Obi. If you take it back and forth, you toss it around, the body is there. Forget this Twitter thing we are doing, It will shock you in 2027 what people plan to do. Ogo came up today, gave us what she's doing. You don't know what I'm doing. And I plan to do something. I plan to do something technology wise, but I'm still having meetings with like minds. I'm not even part of the ninjas or part of the. I know Saddam personally. We chat on WhatsApp. He doesn't know me that much, but there are a lot of people I chat with. But people are doing things. Leave this Twitter with Maurice, that headline. Today, tomorrow, that one don't go, man. People go fill up that space. That guy is a great guy. He has done his thing. Well, there were a lot of people in the Obidient movement who were not happy with the selection process, the structure. When we go to meetings, that's the thing I hear. How did you select this thing? The position. There are few people in Obidient movement whose interest is position. And there are millions who don't care about position. Now, this is my take. When we had the last diaspora meeting where they were having factions and all that, and they said some people dropped their CV for certain positions, and they wanted to do election on that day. We're like, that is not possible. We don't even know these people were voting. They submitted CV to you, but we that are going to vote them, we don't even know who they are. So how do we vote them? How do we know if they are fit for the job? And then they said, okay, let's go and do the interview and all that. Some of us submitted our name to today. We don't hear from anybody. Say, where would the interview be done? How do we, look at these people and make sure they are going to fit for, when you're leading a diaspora group for different continents, you should have this stuff in terms of your capacity, your antecedents. What have you done? What is your skill, man? You don't just drop CV and because you are loud on spaces and then people should, you are saying you are political or something. No, 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 no. For me, following yesterday's resignation, and I tweeted, I said, I think Obedient movement, for me, if I were Obi, I would get like 5 to 10 professionals, including human resource people, tech people, very technical professionals to be like a team on top to run the Obedient structure. Very, very highly professional people, because we're beginning to have problem of coordinating the structure from state to ward to this. And I believe with such kind of a structure that is going to be very visible, look at what happened in Anambra State. They said they had the structure. Where did you see? Those people can easily be bought. So I think Obedient movement should have a very highly technical professional team that can coordinate the different people, groups who are doing things and be able to use technology to mobilize people to the election ground while ensuring that they build a very strong team of election observers who will give us the feedback. So that's that for me for the Obedient movement. I think we're having problem with structure at the moment. I think we will continue to have problem because a lot of people will want to have certain positions. I think we can go back to being very, very amorphous with a very strong technical team. I mean, managers, people who have managed people, people who are HRO, people who are tech people who are media people, 5 to 10 that will be funded and paid for. Like that is their work. You know, when you are selecting people to join Elon Musk's team and their Facebook team, that is how it should be. They should work and be paid for if we have to pay. But all this one say based on who is more influential. I know you. I put you there. It will cause a lot of problem, even from diaspora to local. There will be more problems coming. Some people are going to resign once they don't get certain things, certain positions, even though they may not be doing much. That is that. For the election, yeah, I believe that yes, we can go to the election with 2 by 2, blah blah blah. But if only few of us come with 2 by 2, the security forces and the other people will wear masks. So the focus should be on how do we get people to come out and don't sell their votes. The- How do we do that? How do we get about 90 million Nigerians that are registered? At least let's get like 30 million people out. If we get those people out, forget it. No one can victory. We don't have enough security force or enough agios that can overwhelm that crowd of people. So our focus should be as a people, as a team, we should be asking that question and be brainstorming and be thinking about how how do we get people? That is where I am focusing on. How do I get people out? How do I influence them such that they don't focus on their basic needs, their physiological needs against over their future needs? Because once people are hungry and people are tired and then they come into the pooling area and you give them bread and akara. The way Chidera was having the other day, we were on space and somebody was talking about yanyi malt or yanyi bread and all that. You know, how do we get people out such that the good people will be more than the people who want to come and take mods and they will be able to converse. That should be our focus. And I think that's what we call the ballot revolution that we need. And yeah, that's what I think. Thank you.
Madex, I held myself back so strong, not to interject you, because I wrote down here an analysis that you wrapped up with 90 million registered. 96 million registered voters. I think 92 million registered voters. Imagine 40% of that number. That's around 36, 37 million thereabout. Imagine that turnout during election. I know for fact that out of that 36 million that turn out, Tinubu cannot own, APC cannot own 1%. Let me be modest. APC cannot own 3% of that 36 million. It will be Nigerians that are tired. Now, the question that you asked finally is where we are. It's the junction where we are, overwhelmed with that confusion of where to go. That's the junction we are. All right. How to get people out, how to connect the grassroots. That's the junction where we are. All right, let's move the conversation. Brother,
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
go ahead, brother. Me, we can hear you.
All right. Yeah, good
Hold
job,
on,
Joe.
Brami, before you
You
go. Sorry, before you go,
speak
Brami,
so
I'm just
well.
getting.
Um,
Hold on, Brami.
yeah,
Sorry. Can you hear me? Sorry. HA just, just notified me. I mean, actually, rather, he's been here since forever. Network has been dropping him and like, I mean, like forever. So let him go real quick before the network do the thing again. Archie.
Brother, how you doing? Good morning. Are you
Okay,
hearing
my
me?
brother. Yeah, I can hear you.
Me and you, we still get connecting, talk, only talk. I think that was the last week we chatted. So I don't forget. Now, as I don't put this space now I don't remember. So me and you still get. That's fine. Whenever you're ready.
Say, we got oh my brother, easy. Talk
You know,
Niger
it's,
talk everywhere and there. DM step with that.
I did tell you. So I've been avoiding spaces. Meanwhile, good morning, everybody. I've seen notable people. In fact, almost everybody, their family people to me, they avoid politics space. So once I see politics, I go dodge. But since I don't come out, scholar, Ebokola, De Mommy Pat, Rhoda Sanders, Miss S, Pi, Med X, virtually everybody. Good morning, wherever you guys are spacing from. I personally have been avoiding the conversation because there is nothing that's happening in the movement now, in this movement now, that I have not spoken about, chatted about, been public about. At the time when I started talking about these things, I was one of those folks that was seen as the enemy. He has broken away. He don't collect compu for pockets. Okay, he don't come out the con, but just want to do movement. A lot of things. You understand? But one thing has been quite consistent, which is the fact that I and some of us have been quite vindicated with what we're saying. And this is not a 6 months. This has been ongoing right from even the assembling of, the presidential committee, presidential campaign, when most of these things were seen. I remember very well that the PCC was assembled for context, and there was no synergy between that and the movement, such that there had to be ruffled feathers, and then after ruffled feathers, people now had to go ahead and people now had to go ahead and push the movement. And when they pushed the movement, an alternate presidential committee for the movement was created, where I think Ibrahim was made the chairman and all of that. That said, like I said earlier, I do not think there is a purge in the Obidient movement, in spite of the fact that people are, stepping away from leadership position. I think even thinking there is a purge is defeating the idea of understanding what the Obidient movement is. And again, I keep saying this. The Obidient movement was just Nigerians yearning for a change. And it just happened that at the time, the most available, most political savvy, and most idea-centric person at the time was Peter Obi. So people galvanized, lined up behind him. The Obidient movement didn't start in 2023. If you look back to the election which most of us believed Atiku Abubakar won in 2019, that was the beginning of what we saw as someone who was different from what the pack offered us, and he was on the ticket, and we decided to, rally around that ticket no matter what it was. It's just that it got the nomenclature, the Obidient movement, in 2023. Having said that, I am of a few very unpopular positions, and I'll say it. I say it everywhere. I do not care whose feather is ruffled, because it's not today I started saying it. The day Peter Obi ceases be the face of the Obidient movement, there will be someone to fill that position. And that's fact. And I say this because we keep making it look like Nigeria needs a messiah. So Nigeria is in paucity of people who can fill the position of a messiah in quotes. So again, I'll take you back. Prior to the platform, prior to the public showing of Peter Obi, there were people who were ticked, from Adesina, who was a Southwesterner, to Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who made it to the World Bank, to at some point Obi Ezekwesili. There has been people who we've seen as prudent enough, clear enough with ideas, who we should rally around behind. Nigeria was just ripe for the taking in 2023. Why am I going through all of this? I'm going through all of this because I need us to understand that one human being isn't doing Nigeria a favor. I've seen people say things like, when Nigerians are ready, when Nigerians are this, it's an absolute insult to the sensibilities of Nigerians. You do realize people actually didn't have naira to feed in 2023. And I say this as someone who was very, very, very in the center of mobilization in 2023. People did not have naira to feed. Naira was being sold in open markets at the time that election held. And all we gave out was as little as armbands, as little as matchboxes. And Nigerians came out and refused dollars. Go and look at the history. People were sharing dollars in River State. And Nigerians were about to go to war with a complete dictator who is running his show now in Abuja. Just to protect votes. So how do I now say those Nigerians weren't ready? How do I say those Nigerians in Lagos who use bottles to fight thugs with machetes, with guns? Because all we did was mobilize 1 million march flyers, sensitization. How do I now say those Nigerians were not ready? And somehow when Nigerians are ready, Nigerians will come out and take back their country. It's an absolute, see, to me, I liken that insult to the same level of telling people that Nigerians were not ready when they went out and they were massacred. Because to me, what was the difference was that the numbers wasn't equated to the numbers of 2010, 2020. But people died in that election. How do I sensibly now say those people weren't ready to take back their country? The difference between then and now is that whatever this movement structure has been, has failed woefully. And until you tell that truth, we will continue in this circle. Like 2031 will reach us. And we'll skip so because we keep doing this thing where we make Nigerians' problems look like it's from space. And so our politicians make it look like to build a road, you need $30 billion for a $1 million road. And then we, as the electorate, also make it look like there is some supernatural magic we need to pull out to be able to galvanize Nigerians because Nigerians are not ready on this one and that one. And so we fail in our mobilization. We fail in our coming down and structuring. We fail in the little things, and nobody's saying go and buy votes. You didn't need to buy votes in 2023. You did the barest minimum as Nigerians. In fact, at some point in 2023, it looked like whatever the Obidient movement was running in parallel to what the actual campaign was. If you worked in that campaign, you would know. But it was brute force. It was aggression. We literally had to hijack everything at one side. I'm not going to stay here and humor you with the stories of people who were giving 100 million per state, who organize a campaign rally and people will box 100 million. And it will now be reliant on the Obidient movement to set up things for a campaign to happen. What is lacking? Which is the reason why I can be in loggerheads with Morris. I can say every crazy, and he knows. The one thing I can't fault Morris for was yesterday. I cannot determine how people tell their truth. I cannot determine how people tell their stories. I cannot determine how people respond to frustration. When you get involved in mobilization, especially with regards to this movement, then you can speak. I read Madam Bolanle's tweets, and then she listed a couple of people in response to Maurice who have backed off of the movement. And then I saw names, and I was like, these are people who are putting their heart and I know because I've had experiences with them. So take away Maurice from the picture. Nana Kazaure, for instance. Do you know how much sacrifice that woman has put in? So what's the problem right now? Is that Maurice came in and made a tweet of what most of us know is true, that somehow our leader, because he is my leader, even though I try to dissociate from what is the structure of the movement, because I don't think there is a structure. Our leader is busy doing philanthropy on one hand, when all we need to do, there is no complication to 2027. I keep telling people, there is no miraculous complication. All you need to do is sit down, get your act right, get everybody on board, and explain to them, this is where we're headed. Find a structure, follow up with that structure.
Actually, are you there? Oh, you dropped off the network. Okay. We can move to Brother Me in the meantime then. Go ahead, Brother Me.
Yeah, can anyone hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, as I was saying before, I don't determine intelligence by your ability to say nice things, but I can say Jago is one outstanding personality, and I hope in the nearest future he will be a shoulder for people to lean. I hope his platform becomes better than this because he's a very sincere fellow. I mean, from the things that come from his mouth. Okay? So now regarding this whole thing happening around Peter Obi, Labour Party, and the 2027 election preparation and all that. Me, I just want to speak to my reality. Peter Obi has taken it upon himself to rescue Nigeria, average Nigerian, and he has been saddled with that responsibility, which he has been following it according to his own honest standard. Yeah, the honest standard that is the need which become and I said, which become referred to his excellency must be excellent. Okay, he has also tried to practice ecclesiastes 3, where the good and the bad coexist by joining the coalition. We saw how much he pulled directly for the campaign. When the campaign published officially, I think about 900 million naira of funds that was not stolen. We right here in Ebony State during the Obidient movement, I asked questions. I joined them in the rally. Like, what's up? Who organized this thing? Like, I want to know. In fact, as a matter of fact, I do not know how they did the organization stuff. That day, I was even going to buy material. I say, Peter Obi is coming. I just dropped my stuff there. The whole thing was very beautiful. Just like when I say beautiful, it sends shockwaves to everyone. Some people were literally crying. I'm telling you, people were literally crying. This is the first time they will participate in a political rally that they think the person who is heading it means well. People were literally crying. I could feel people's emotion. In that movement, different calibers of people were there. Lecturers and people who were using suit, military personnel that was not uniform, many individuals. 2023 was a very big, a very mighty one for me, to be very honest. What is currently happening now? It made me repent, you know. And what actually triggered those 2023 was Peter Obi's speech, words from his mouth. Okay, words are strong, powerful tools of revolution. We experienced a little bit of it during that 2023. And Peter Obi, as a man who is known for who is going to be constructive and not destructive. I've always treasured people's safety. That was why we coward Nigerians, yeah, I have to say that, you know, we coward Nigerians thinks he needs to be moved. Okay. I mean, I can tell you, Jagun, leave the space or end the space. Meanwhile, I actually want you to continue the space. I love what you're doing. And this